I'm not teaching, I'm publicly learning. But hi and welcome to Learning for the Life in the UK test part 28. A distinct identity. That is on the pages 19, 20 and 21, a long chapter. While doing restraining, and if you participate in this restraining, that is at your own risk. So a distinct identity. The Middle Ages saw the development of a national culture and identity. So during this almost 1,000-year period from 467 until 1485, why was it 467? The fall of the Roman Empire, yes. The fall of the Roman Empire started the Middle Ages, according to them here. There are other forms of calculating the beginning of the Middle Ages and the end of it, because in 410 the Romans left. But we are starting the Middle Ages in 476. So in this 1,000-year period, the Middle Ages saw the development of a national culture and identity. So we mean national. So that England, Scotland, Wales, Northern Ireland, Britain developed a national identity and culture. So we know that during the Iron Age, the people in Britain were speaking Celtic, as well as the people in Northern Europe similar languages. And now we are reading something about that during the Middle Ages, so 2,000 years after the Iron Age, the people started from 500 to 1,500 to develop their own identity and culture. After the Norman conquest, the king and his noblemen had spoken Norman French. That is interesting. That is, I guess, the first time that we are told anything for the second time. But I think it's just a new section and it was written completely independent from the first one. And it's just very necessary to tell it us here. After the Norman conquest, the king and his noblemen had spoken Norman French, and the peasants had continued to speak Anglo-Saxon. It goes for quite a while on about the language. It's very important. It's just unusual for past pages. So the ruling class, we had already, so the ruling class, and over here, the king and his noblemen, had spoken Norman French. And the peasants, these were the farmers, who were mostly serfs. That means they have less rights than free peasants. They could be, even though not as badly as slaves, completely individually sold and their own body didn't belong to them. They still lived pretty unfree. So these peasants, or rather serfs, had continued to speak Anglo-Saxon. So the ruling class, the king and the noblemen, were speaking Norman French, so a form of French, I guess, and the peasants, for the most part of the population, was speaking, what was it, Anglo-Saxon? Were we told that at that point, that sentence? Yes, we were continued to speak Anglo-Saxon. We had that we were speaking Celtic, and that then, that today still in some parts of Wales, Scotland and Ireland, related language to Celtic can be encountered, and that the Anglo-Saxons brought a language on which the modern English is based on. And we know that during the Middle Ages, the most part of the population, the peasants, still kept speaking this Anglo-Saxon, just Anglo-Saxon English. And let's do a bit of wrist training. So we're having the hand next to us, the fists, and we bring these hands and fists down. And down. And up. And we're having 3 rules. The first rule is that if we feel pain, we're stopping immediately. And the second rule is that we are going only as far as we can go with a little bit of effort. And the third rule is we do not overdoing it. So how about that? As the last time, we're having an axillary exercise. If someone likes to, by that exercise, we're going to the outsides and to the insides. The first exercise was the spotlight. This is the flashlight. And in a moment we're going to have 2 exercises of a T-Rex. But first let's look what the next sentence is. So the most part of the population, the peasants, were speaking Anglo-Saxon, the ruling class, the king and the noblemen, Norman French. Gradually these 2 languages combined to become one language, become one English language. So one English language. So Anglo-Saxon spoken by the peasants and Norman French by the ruling class combined to one language, to an English language. Some words in modern English, for example, park and beauty, are based on Norman French words. Others, for example, apple, cow and summer, are based on Anglo-Saxon words. So there are different words in the English language. There are, for example, the words apple or cow or summer or park and beauty. And some of these words are coming from the Anglo-Saxon and some are coming from the Norman French. And park and beauty, for example, from the Norman French, and apple, summer and cow from the Anglo-Saxon. In modern English there are often two words with very similar meaning. One from French and one from Anglo-Saxon. That explains it. So the next exercise, it is the T-Rex in the morning. The T-Rex has two similar exercises. One is he doing in the morning, where he brings his hands up and down. And he has also a second one, and that is the T-Rex when he's in the gym, where he uses a tennis ball, and if you don't has one, he just uses his fist. So if you don't have a tennis ball, you make the exercise just without one, just with fist. And we're pressing onto the tennis ball with the fingers, or just make a strong fist, and releasing it again. And we're pressing onto the tennis ball, and releasing again. And the last time, we're pressing onto the tennis ball, and we're switching on the other side. We are pressing onto the tennis ball, and releasing. And we're pressing onto the tennis ball, and releasing. And one last time, and releasing. So, in the English language, we are having oftentimes two words of the same meaning, and one is based on Norman French, which was the ruling class where the king and the nobleman were speaking, and the other one on Anglo-Saxon, which the peasants were speaking. Anglo-Saxon words, so modern English words which are based on Anglo-Saxon, which the peasants were speaking, are, for example, cake, summer and cow, and modern English words which are based on Norman French, which the ruling class was speaking, are, for example, park and beauty. Now we're having an example for in modern English there are often two words with very similar meaning, one from French and one from Anglo-Saxon. Demand is from French and ask from Anglo-Saxon are examples. So one could say in a book, demand is not so often used in the sense of asking in normal speaking, but in a book you can often find it in the sense of just asking. So, what's your... I want to know who... No, that's not an example of it. Whatever, in a book it can be easily written down that Peter asks, what time is it? Or Peter demanded to know what time it is. It's a bit more strenuous if we say it in that context. But demand and ask are very similar words, and if used properly, it is more or less possible to use them actually that they are almost synonyms. So demand is from French, and ask, or then asking, demanding and asking. Let's say the word with the ing form, because then it's easier to transmit. Demanding and asking. Demanding is based on French and ask on Anglo-Saxon. But maybe one reason is that not just the demand is the form closer to the original, but that it is closer to the French word. I don't know how it's pronounced, but it is very much demand, and ask could be very much Anglo-Saxon, whereas asking could be quite far away already in modern day English. We wanted to have examples which are very much like that. By 1400 in England, official documents were being written in English, and English had become the preferred language of the royal court and parliament. We don't know anything about the ruling class if they started to prefer English instead of Norman French, but we know with the royal court and the parliament. started by 1400 to prefer English, which is based on parts of French and Anglo-Saxon. Now we're having the next exercise. We are doing wrist training, so we are doing the frog, testing the water temperature. We are having hands next to us, and we're bringing the hands with flat fingers down. And again up, and we're making strong fists. Now we're going down, and we're making, again, flat fingers. And down to making strong fists. And again down, and flat fingers. And again. And the last time down. And the last time. And let's go over to the last exercise, the cautious breathing. We're placing the fingertips of one hand on top of the fingernails of the other hand. And now we are opening and we're closing, and that hand on top presses the whole time during the process of opening both hands and during the process of closing both hands. And on the other hand, at the other hand, I'll be placing the hand on the other hand. And the last time opening and closing. So side last exercise, but we don't have enough time left to start the next section. So we're doing one bonus exercise. We're having one long arm and we're making a strong fist. So not just hold the fist, but make a strong one. Press together a bit. And now go into flexion, so bring the fist to the inside. And have a long elbow. And now we're changing. We're bringing the hand into extension and we're flaying the fingers. So like that. From that to that. And with all the pressure. And we're bringing the hand again in and make a strong fist. And again to the outside and flare the fingers. And the last time to the inside with a strong fist, so into flexion with a strong fist. And to the outside with a strong fist, and try to not make a bend in the elbow. And releasing. Now on the other hand. Now bending the elbow, long arm, make a strong fist, and bring the fist into flexion. And back and into extension. Again into flexion with a strong fist. And back into flexion. And again in, into flexion with a strong fist. And the last time back to extension with a flat fingers. And relax. And now we need to relax the extension of the jaw muscle, that muscle here. We are having a long arm, make a little bend in the elbow and go with moderate pressure over it. Now the muscle over the middle part of the lower arm. And on the other side, long arm, bit bend, go with moderate pressure. It's a bit more than just moderate. Over the middle part of the lower arm. One last time. And I guess we haven't reached the end. Let's make the thing in the quotation marks. By 1400 in England, official documents were being written in English, and English had become the preferred language of the royal court and parliament. So by 1400, English had been started to be used in documents in the royal court and the parliament. Before it was Anglo-Saxons by the peasants and Norman French by the ruling class. In English there are oftentimes two words with the same meaning or similar meaning. For example, demand is based on French, Norman French from the ruling class, and asking from Anglo-Saxon from the peasant class. And other words, for example, cow, summer, and the third one, apple, are also Anglo-Saxon, and others like park and beauty are Norman French based. So with that, I thank you very much, and until next time.